I understand too, like a story within a story here is like, the big topic coming into the season was that, well, even last season, Jonathan Gannon kept telling everybody, I don't have a scheme. I don't have a scheme. I don't have a scheme. And so we were talking, you remember when we had John McMullen on a couple weeks ago and he thought the 3-4-4-3 topic was overrated because, the kind of the buzzword, it's not really new, but it's kind of like made it into the mainstream this year. But the Eagles, the defense buzzword is multiple, right? So they're going to show we're multiple. What does that mean? They're going to show multiple fronts. They're going to show 3-3-5. They're going to show 4-2-5. They're going to show 5 down linemen. They're going to have, Jordan Davis as a double A gap run stuffer. So to call them anything as a base is kind of a misnomer, right? So regardless, if you're going to show a bunch of different things, still got to have guys doing what they're best at. So whether you're playing 5 down line, whether you're playing some 5-2 overhang, or whether you got some kind of like 3-3-5 odd stack going on there. Like Hassan Reddick is a pass rusher, man. That's what he's good at. That's what he's always been good at. So you can say you're multiple and you can do a bunch of different deployments, but within that framework, like Hassan Reddick's got to be rushing the quarterback. Jordan Davis has to be stuffing the run. Like you still got to you can do a lot of different things with your formation, but you still have to have people doing what they are best at, or else you're just not maximizing it.
Vic Fangio was at training camp a lot this year.
Yeah, which was an interesting topic, and people like to point that out. I think that's probably a little bit of an overrated kind of thing, though, because a lot of people show up at these camps. There's a lot of ideas that are shared. And there's a lot of talking. And there's always constant communication between mentors and former coaches and current coaches and former players and current players. And I just don't think. I think the thing that bothered me the most was, okay, so they come out. We were sold this whole thing all summer long, Pagan, about the Eagles aren't tackling, they're not hitting, they're not going to be ready for this game. Defense comes out, they get run over on their first series. Okay, Eagles come back and score 21 unanswered points. The defense gets 3 and outs and a pick six. And you can say that Jared Goff just totally missed TJ Hawkinson there because he's running. Baldy broke this down. He's running a stick nod route, 5 to 7 yards, plant, turn, look for the ball, and then go back upfield. They were off. They were not on the same page there. But if Kaiser White doesn't get his hand on that pass, he's not deflecting it, batting it up in the air, right? So you have to give the defense credit for that, even if that was a misread between Goff and his tight end, right? So what I'm looking at is 3 and outs and then a pick six. They were up 20.
Also, Darius Slay dropped a easy interception too, and they ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive too.
They probably should have had 2 takeaways. The Eagles didn't turn the ball over. They're +1 in the turnover department. Penalties, if you watched any NFL games this week, week 1, there were a ton of penalties. Sloppy football week 1, regardless of how people prepared. And the Lions had hard knocks, and everybody made a big deal about how they were hitting, how they were preparing. They were not on the same page, on some passing routes. They made a bunch of mistakes at the same time too. So everybody who force-fed us this thing of the Eagles aren't going to be ready, they're not practicing hard enough, they're not practicing long enough, it turned out to be complete 100% unfiltered bullshit. It was because they went down 7-0, yes, and the defense did not play well throughout the entirety of the game. They let the Lions back into the game, but they were up 21-7. They were up 24-14 at halftime. You cannot make a credible case that they were not ready or not prepared to play the game. There's a difference between being prepared and being ready versus just not playing very well. And that looked like a hostile environment, man. That crowd sounded great on television. The Lions looked like they were up for it. So give them some credit at the same time too. I mean, maybe we're all wrong and the Lions aren't dog shit and they turn out to be okay this year. So
I like your point right there. I think this will be a good win when it's all said and done. When you look back on the season, I think, wow, the Lions actually finished maybe second in the NFC North.
Well, it could very well be. And look, Green Bay doesn't look very good. I know Chicago got the win, in crappy elements there, but maybe the NFC North looks a little different than it has. I'm just not going to sit here and listen to people say like, they gave up 35 points. Obviously they weren't prepared. No, man, they were up 21-7 and then they kept the lead for the rest of the game. And what the hell do you want? Like they were ready. You can say that they didn't play very well and that they made mistakes defensively, which is true. But to say that they were not prepared because of like some fugazi bullshit you were feeding us during the summer, that just was not true. That was verifiably untrue.